everyone. So we'll be discussing pertussis. So I'm Juan Miguel Alojado, and I'm reporting here with Kirsten Brad Barbosa, Mary Pauline Bartolome, Angelica Batalante, and Stephen John Caducoy.
Please turn on your cameras, class.
Okay pa.
Sige.
Okay, so
Carry
let's proceed with the medical history of the patient. So the patient JCG is a 1 month old, specifically 29 days old male Filipino. So the chief complaint for the of the parents is tachypnea and grunting. So the history of present illness is described by the mother, and 1 week prior to admission, she noticed occasional coughing from the baby, and shrugged it off. 3 days prior to admission, the baby started exhibiting flu-like symptoms such as low-grade fever and colds. And 1 day prior to admission, the mother was alarmed when the baby started breathing too fast and coupled with grunting. So for the birth history, so JCG was born at 39 weeks gestation via NSVD or normal spontaneous vaginal delivery to a 25-year-old mother who is G1P1 or Gravida Para 1 and had her first prenatal visit in the second trimester. Her mother's prenatal screen revealed a negative Hep B antigen, negative HIV screen, non-reactive RPR, rubella immune, and negative GBS, which was provided by OB discharge papers from the hospital. So there were no complications during birth, and the infant's birth weight is 2.8 kilograms, and the APGAR score is 9. So for the developmental history and feeding history, so JCG was able to look at faces, discriminate voices from others, cry, and recognize that caregivers were capable of giving them their needs. For the feeding history, he was breastfed exclusively until a day prior to admission. Since then, he has received Similac 3 to 4 ounce. For the past medical history, the mother denies any accidents and injuries, and she has not been able to establish her pediatrician. And for the immunization, JCG was given 1 dose of hepatitis V vaccine at September 1, 2020.
Vaccine? Ano yun? Hepatitis V vaccine?
Hepatitis B vaccine po daw.
Okay. Akala ko may bago ng variant.
With the first dose done at September 1, 2022. So on the family history, the mother and the father was noted to be healthy, and the patient did not have any siblings. Lastly, on the review of systems, it shows that there are no symptoms in all systems except respiratory and the nose and sinuses. So in the respiratory system, there was shortness of breath and difficulty of breathing noted. As for the nose and sinuses, there was a clear nasal discharge present due to runny nose.
So for the next part, we have the diagnostics or the physical examination. So next slide, please. So as for the survey, the patient appears to be restless, exhausted, and agitated. So the patient has this stress mood, which is in line sa affect, and has mental response that is said to be poor. As for the vital signs, we should note that the heart rate is 156 beats per minute. So it is due sa blockage sympathetic tone, which plays a key role in the induction of the increased heart rate by the toxin. As per the respiratory rate, it is 64 cycles per minute. So baka tayo merong low respiratory rate. So once the bacteria is inhaled from the infected person who is either coughing or sneezing, that bacteria will attach sa tiny hair-like structures called the cilia that line the upper respiratory system that will release the poison that can cause the airways to swell, which will make the person hard to breathe. As for the temperature, it's increased. So this can indicate a low-grade fever. So for the next slide, we're going to be discussing about the head naman and the eyes. So for the head is normocephalic. There is no mass and tenderness, symmetric, and has no lesions. However, the face of the patient is cyanotic during a attack. So cyanosis is said to be the unusual bluish discoloration ng skin and the mucous membrane, which is located commonly sa lips, sa mouth, sa palms ng hands, sa fingernails, and sa soles ng feet. So this signifies hypoxemia or low level of O2 in the blood. As for the eyes naman, the eyes of the patient is closed symmetrically with bilateral blinking. There is normal palpebral fissure, normal set of eyeballs, and the pupils are 2 to 3 millimeter in diameter. However, there's appearance of red blood vessels in the white of the eyes, or what we call as scleral hemorrhage. So next slide, please. As for the ears and the nose, so sa ears, these are symmetrical and no tenderness. The ear canal is also patent, walang discharge, no redness or swelling, and the tympanic membranes are white and intact with no swelling. As for the nose is symmetrical without lesions. The nasal mucosa is red and hyperemic, and the nasal discharge is also present. So next slide, please. So next is the chest or the thorax. So sa percussion, this revealed diffusely hyperresonant, and sa auscultation naman, this noted the wheezing and the crackles. So what is bilateral wheezing? So high pitch sila or shrill or coarse sounds that are usually very parang sabay-sabay. While for the crackles or the rills naman, these are series of short and explosive sounds. And then for the abdomen naman, it is seemed to be rounded, symmetrical with no mass. The umbilicus is inverted with no visible pulsations in the epigastric region. There's also no dilated superficial blood vessels with decreased bowel sound. Upon percussion, we can note diffused sound. Just upon palpation, there's also in the epigastric region. So lastly, for the extremities, the arms and legs are symmetrical, non-edematous. Wala pong dilated veins and lesions. The elbows, the shoulders, and the knees, the wrist, and the ankle have no enlargement. Symmetrical and no tenderness with complete range of motion. Thus normal din yung spine without left, right, orthotic, and deviations. So for the next part, this will be discussed by another person.
So now I'll be discussing the different clinical laboratory tests that done to the patient. So first, we have your polymerase chain reaction or your PCR test. So it was found out that the patient is positive for the DNA of your Bordetella pertussis. So PCR using primers PLP1 and PLP2 was evaluated for the detection of the DNA from Bordetella pertussis in bacterial strains and in nasopharyngeal samples from patients with a cough lasting at least 4 to 7 days. So the detection of your Bordetella pertussis specific DNA by PCR is a promising new technique for the rapid and reliable diagnosis of pertussis. Next slide, please. So here is an example of electrophoretic analysis of PCR products obtained from a patient with Bordetella pertussis using primers of PLP1 and PLP. So initially, your PCR has optimal sensitivity during the first 3 weeks of cough. Then when bacterial DNA is still present in the nasopharynx, after the 4th week ng cough, the amount of bacterial DNA is unti-unti silang nawawala or bumababa yung level na nag-increase na rin yung risk of obtaining falsely negative results. Next slide. Yeah. So PCR is a rapid test and has an excellent sensitivity. However, your PCR test is they vary in specificity. Therefore, obtaining a culture confirmation of pertussis for at least one suspicious case at any time na may outbreak ng pertussis. So mahalaga na magkaroon tayo ng something. Next slide. So next would be the culture of your nasopharyngeal secretion. So it was found out also na positive yung result ng patient, positive for the growth of Bordetella pertussis. So culture of your Bordetella pertussis is the gold standard and the preferred laboratory test for pertussis. However, yung organism natin can be difficult to isolate and the culture is less sensitive than PCR but it has a 100% specificity. So yung Bordetella pertussis is frequently recovered siya during the catarrhal or the early paroxysmal stage ng illness. Noon mas magandang maswab yung patient at makita, i-culture yung specimen na makukuha natin. Next slide. So here is an example of a Bordetella pertussis that produces a small, domed, and glistening colonies that resembles bisected pearls. So the colonies are usually surrounded by a zone of hemolysis. So yung ginamit nilang agar dito is Bordet gecko agar yung ginamit nila. But we can also use your charcoal force blood agar or grown in supplement stainers called broth. Yun daw yung mga agar o type of media na pwede natin gamitin para makulture natin yung specimen ng pertussis. Next slide. The next for the chest radiograph. So it was revealed that pulmonary consolidation is present for the patient. There's also a peribronchial shadowing, perihilar infiltrates or edema with variable degrees of atelectasis and lip adenoma. So next slide. So here's an example of a film of a patient with Bordetella pertussis. So remember that Bordetella pertussis infection is transmitted via aerosolized respiratory droplets which are produced during the paroxysms of cough. Next slide. So in here, I'll be showing the trends of the complete blood count of the patient starting from the admission. So from the admission, the patient is noted to have a low level ng RBC, hemoglobin and hematocrit, and a high level of WBC, which is 77.19. And the rest would be normal result. Next slide. After 3 days, so the CBC count was also, i-repeat natin yung CBC natin, then it was noted pa rin na yung WBC is increasing siya from 77, naging 101.85 na siya, and your RBC, hemoglobin and hematocrit remains low, and your platelet become high level na. Next slide. On the day 5 of admission, still the RBC, hemoglobin, and hematocrit levels continue to become low yung kanilang amount, whereas yung WBC natin is bumaba siya ng bahagya, 74.03 because of the treatment or management done to the patient that will be discussed on the few slides. And the platelet count is become normal. And on the day 9, next slide please. So on the day 9, it was noted that some of the levels of the RBC and hemoglobin remains low, but the WBC is still high, which is 15.88. And the platelet count becomes low from 200, naging 20 na lang siya. So for the interpretation of results, next slide. So the anemia can be explained by in vivo experiments kasi show that the diphtheria toxoids were easily bound to human erythrocytes. So this finding could help and explain the pathogenesis of autohemolysis. Kaya bumababa yung level ng RBC, hemoglobin at hematocrit ng patient. For the leukocytosis naman, we have this thing called your PT or your leukocyte promoting leukocyte promoting factor, which causes the accumulation ng leukocytosis of Bordetella pertussis and probable acts through a combination of effects on leukocyte surface adhesion molecules and chemokine receptor signaling to cause this effect. Yung thrombocytopenia naman, since the patient is experiencing sepsis na rin, that may cause your DIC. That cause the depletion of your serum platelet level. Kaya bumababa yung trends ng ating platelet. Next slide. So here is a diagram showing yung Bordetella pertussis that infects our airways that produces different toxins, and the bacteria multiply on ciliated cells and release your PT o yung sinabi ko nga kanina, leukocytosis promoting factor, and some of which gets to the bloodstream. Then what happened? It inhibits the chemokine receptor signaling, reducing yung leukocyte retention natin in the bone marrow and spleen. And also, it inhibits your LFA1 mediated arrest of lymph node venules, and CD62L expression is reduced on circulating leukocytes, inhibiting yung extravasation. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll just continue yung mga clinical lab tests na ginawa sa patient natin. So another one is your bone examination, specifically yung bone marrow aspiration, which is na-discuss kanina during lecture. So ang ginagawa to ng doctor to know kung yung bone marrow is healthy and making normal amounts of blood cells. So ang result na nakuha dito is there is a heterogeneous populations of cells. So yung lahat ng cell lineages natin are present. So there is trilineage maturation and no extrinsic cells are noted. And there is no evidence of tumor cells. Next slide, please. Ayan, so shown in the slide is a table showing yung different parameters sa bone marrow aspirate natin. So all are normal naman. Next slide. Another test is yung electrolytes. Kung mapapansin nyo dito sa table natin, so lahat naman siya normal except dun sa sodium na decreased siya. So ang reason dito probably is yung non-osmotic release ng ADH as a result ng fever or yung respiratory tract infections nga dito sa pertussis. Another is yung echocardiogram, and alam naman natin na yung echocardiogram checks how the heart's chambers and valves are pumping the blood through the heart. So yung unang echocardiogram natin showed no abnormal findings. However, in day 10, next slide please. Ayan, so in day 10, yung echocardiogram natin showed pulmonary arterial hypertension. So there is a dilatation of the right cavities, compression of the left cavities, and the presence of a pericardial effusion. So itong pulmonary hypertension natin is a major risk factor for infection-induced death. However, yung molecular mechanisms niya promoting yung pulmonary hypertension are unknown and there is no effective treatment. However, dun sa mga ibang studies na nabasa ko, so existing histological evidence was such that extreme leukocytosis predisposes to the formation of lymphocyte aggregates in the pulmonary vasculature and increased pulmonary vascular resistance via obstruction rather than hypoxic vasoconstriction.
Okay, so to continue for the treatment, medication, and monitoring for the case. So next slide, please. So pertussis infection often results in protracted illnesses. So frequent coughing, paroxysm interfere with daily function. So yung young infants can develop serious complications, including poor weight gain, apnea, pneumonia, respiratory failure, seizures, and eventually, or worst case, is death. So that's why treatment, medication, and monitoring is essential and important. So in here, I got this, So I got this table from Nelson. So the table shows the list of caveats in assessment and care of infants with pertussis. So ang arte ng caveats, so ano lang yan, warning signs, in other words. So in here, ages below 4 months is an indication for hospitalization in infants with pertussis or even suspected pertussis infection pa lang, given the concerns of rapid deterioration in younger infants. So infants younger than 4 months are at increased risk for severe or fatal pertussis infection. So yan sa table is some of the warning signs na and assessment and care of infants with pertussis. So next slide, please. So for medication, so an antimicrobial agent is always given when pertussis is suspected or confirmed, primarily to limit the spread of the infection and secondarily for possible clinical benefit. So the antimicrobial therapy for pertussis in infants less than 4 months of age, as shown in the case, should be initiated immediately upon suspicion pa lang of pertussis. So the macrolide antibiotics such as erythromycin, azithromycin, and clarithromycin are the preferred antimicrobial therapies for the treatment of pertussis. So actually the preferred regimen varies with age. So next slide, please. So I got this table again from Nelson's that shows the recommended antimicrobial treatment and for pertussis by age group. So in here, for less than a month, since yung patient natin is just 29 days old, so it shows here that the recommended agent is the azithromycin. And yung dosage niya is 20 milligrams per kg per day in a single dose for 5 days only, limited to the safety data available. And yung erythromycin is not preferred for the infants less than a month, kasi there is erythromycin is substantially associated with infantile associated with the infantile hypertrophic pyloric stenosis, and there's a lot of studies supporting with this. So pero if hindi talaga available yung azithromycin, it is also possible to give, but with caution and with proper dosage as stated in this table. So a 7 to 10-fold relative risk for infantile hypertrophic pyloric stenosis, as I said, has been reported sa neonates treated with orally administered erythromycin. So as I reiterate, so azithromycin is the preferred agent in all age group, and especially in our case, kasi there are rare cases na yung hypertrophic pyloric stenosis have been followed its use in neonates. So yung all young infants, especially yung case natin, should be closely monitored for symptoms of pyloric stenosis. So since our case is less than a month nga, so yun, as I said, azithromycin is the best or recommended treatment for this. So next would be, part of the treatment management is the isolation. So patients with suspected pertussis are placed in an isolation with droplet precautions to reduce the close respiratory or mucous membrane contact with respiratory secretion. So all healthcare personnel or professionals should wear a mask upon entering sorry, next slide. Yeah, isolation. So as I said earlier, that one. So all healthcare personnel should wear masks upon entering the room, and screening for coughs should be performed upon entering or upon the entrance of the patients to the emergency department, and to begin the isolation agad upon immediately upon reporting. So next part of the treatment would be the monitoring. So the respiratory rate, oxygen saturation, and WBC count of the infants who are admitted to the hospital of pertussis, suspected man or confirmed, should be monitored every 12 hours according to Nelson. So for its preventive measures, so universal immunization of children with pertussis vaccine beginning in infancy with reinforcing doses through adolescence and adulthood is the central control of the disease pertussis. So prevention of pertussis in young infants depends on the universal maternal health also or immunization during pregnancy in the no mother, and focus on full immunization of contacts, both children and adults of all ages. So to further discuss lang yung prevention, next slide please. First is the infant immunization or the DTaP. So DTaP, diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis. So DTaP is only for children younger than 7 years old, and it is recommended that the children receive 5 doses of DTaP, usually at the ages 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 15 to 18 months, and 4 to 6 years. So DTaP is only used for children, as I reiterate, younger than 7 years old. So next would be the maternal, next slide please, yan. Maternal immunization or yung Tdap, which is the tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, which is given for children 7 years older, adolescents, and adults. So adolescents should receive a single dose of Tdap, preferably at age 11 or 12 years. And yung pregnant people should also get a dose of Tdap during early pregnancy, preferably sa early part ng pregnancy pa lang of the third trimester to help protect the newborn from pertussis. So infants nga are most risk for severe life-threatening complications from pertussis, as shown as our case. So important immunization ng mother or pregnant people to avoid and pertussis. So adults who never receive Tdap should get a dose of Tdap, and adults should also receive a booster dose of either Tdap or TD every 10 years or after 5 years in the case of a severe or dirty wound or burn. So so ano ba difference ng Tdap and Tdap? So both are against the same disease, but basically different for different age groups lang. So babies and infants, children aged under 7 will always get the DTaP. And yung children over 7 naman is always get the Tdap. So actually, follow-up questions here if do you need Tdap if you had DTaP na? So answer is yes, kasi Tdap is often used as a booster shot. So anyone over the age 7 who needs diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis vaccines should get Tdap. So yun nga, as we learn na a person's immunity against these diseases tends to decrease over time. So that's why booster shot is essential and needed at least every 10 years. So next slide, please. Ayan. This is all for our case, pertussis. Thank you for listening, and the following slides are our references.
Hello. Ano na ang case natin? This is a case of pertussis. What's the causative agent of this disease?
Bordetella
Bordetella
pertussis.
pertussis po.
Ay, ang daming mumema, no? Hirap ma-record. So, Bordetella pertussis, ano to? Anong klaseng causative agent ito?
Gram-negative po.
Gram-negative.
Gram-negative na bacilli. Gram-negative bacilli.
Gram-negative. Bacilli, cocci. Ano ang gram reaction ng Bordetella pertussis?
Gram-neg, Doc.
Bacilli.
Gram-neg, bacilli in chains in what?
Rod po.
Doc,
Cocci.
Doc, both pala. Both po.
Coxobacilla.
Cocobacilli.
Cocobacilli.
So ano talaga? Oy, reporter, ano talaga? Yung reporter, hindi. Di ba may micro na kayo ngayon? You're supposed to be taking up micro this semester, no? Not yet? So kasalanan pala ng schedule ito. Sige. So reporter, what is the gram reaction of Bordetella pertussis?
Gram-negative po, Doc.
Gram-negative na cocobacilli po, Doc.
Sure yan?
Yes.
Yes.
So pag gram-negative, ano yung fear? What is your fear with gram-negative infection?
Doc, mahirap po yung treatment kapag gram-neg. Hindi.
What else? What is that fact that makes gram-negative a ferocious enemy in the hospitals?
Doc, kasi
Resistant.
resistant sa
Resistance po to sa
Antibiotics.
Lahat? Meron namang sensitivity What does it produce? Gram-negative
Endotoxin po, Doc.
Yes, endotoxins that can result into what? Hoy. Endotoxins. What does endotoxin do?
inflammation, Doc.
Doc, anaphylactic. Pwedeng mag-anaphylactic reaction.
Not exactly. Ano pa?
Doc,
Sa
shock
inflammation, ano yung ina-activate na endotoxin? Uy, nag-inflame kayo, di ba? 2 weeks ago. What does endotoxin do? Ano ba ang endotoxin? What is it made of?
Glycolipids, Doc.
Lipopolysaccharides. Right. Ang lipopolysaccharides or endotoxin stimulates what? May tatlong pathway yon.
Coagulation cascade.
Hindi. Complement. Ano yung mga pathways ng complement pathway? Ano yung types of the complement pathway?
Classical alternative lective.
Classical ba? Di ba music ang classical? Classic, di ba? Di ko alam. Alternative, classic, ano yung isa?
Lectin po, Doc.
Manan binding lectin, di ba? Okay. So what do they end up with?
Alternative pathway.
Hindi yung common na mangyayari in complement activation.
Lysis po.
Yes, membrane attack complex, di ba? Which can result into lysis. Resulting into the release along the activation of the complement pathway. It will result into the release of anong mga substances yun?
Cytotoxic
Your cytokines that will one of those cytokines is
Amplifying cascades po.
Kaya ano yung mga pwedeng mangyari? That will result into SIRS. Ano yung SIRS? Uy, SIRS. Ano yung
Systemic inflammatory response syndrome.
Yes, so what are those? Uy, ano yung mga yun? Anong manifestation yun? Ng SIRS?
Trauma, sir,
Ha?
for inflammation po or ischemia.
Hindi, ano yun? Ano yung mga yun? Nasa lab works, nasa ano ng patient mo?
Hypothermia, Doc.
Tachycardia.
Hypo or hyperthermia? Correct?
Fever.
Takipnya.
Leukocytosis or
Leukocytosis?
Or leukopenia.
Leukopenia.
Leukocytosis or leukopenia? Ano pa?
Fever.
Meron na. Hyper or hypothermia?
Bradycardia. Tachycardia.
Hypotension, Doc.
Hypotension pag shock na, no? Anyway. So yun. Ang itong patient na to, nag-shock ba siya?
Doc, dun based sa aming article, parang nag-deteriorate po siya, nag-shock po siya after no.
So what type of shock is that?
Septic shock po, Doc.
Septic shock. And what happens in septic shock?
Doc,
Or is there shock?
Multiple organ dysfunction.
In septic shock, bakit nag-shock siya? Ano ba ang manifestation ng shock?
DIC.
Fever, DIC, hypotension.
Balik nga tayo dun sa hemodynamics niya. What is shock? Huwag mo na isipin septic shock. What is shock? Anong vital signs ang very important in defining shock?
Blood pressure po, Doc.
Yes, blood pressure, di ba? When the pressure drops or hypotension, there is shock. So iba-iba yun. It can be hypovolemic shock. Hypovolemic shock because of the inadequate volume. The BP is not sustained. Ano pa ibang shock? Alam nyo? Culture shock, pwede ba?
Septic shock tsaka cardiogenic po.
Sa cardiogenic, what happens? Bakit bumababa yung BP?
Failure ng heart po, Doc.
Failure of the heart to pump. So ano pa yun? Ano pa ibang shock alam niyo? Mapunta na tayo. Neurogenic shock because of the severe pain, hindi na kayo makapag you cannot sustain the BP anymore, no? Now, in septic shock, what happens? Bakit bumababa ang BP sa septic shock?
Dahil po sa infection, Doc.
Because of the endotoxin sa infection. Anong meron? Pwede naman tayo ma-infect ng ibang bagay. Bakit hindi nagsiseptic shock yung iba? Because the endotoxin results into what?
High levels of cytokines po.
Okay, pwede cytokines that results into ano yun?
Activation and injury po, Doc.
Massive vascular, peripheral vascular, what? Starts with the?
Vasodilation po, Doc.
Yes, because of the peripheral vascular dilation. Ano mangyayari? Your BP drops. Kasi lahat ng iyong blood ay nandun sa peripheral vasculature. And it is caused by the endotoxin. Hindi lang yon, there will also be third spacing. Diba? There will be fluid loss, kaya magkaroon ng edema. Kahit pump ka ng fluid, hindi pumupunta, hindi nakakabalik sa heart. Okay? Kaya yun yung kinakamatay dito sa patient. Yung patient ba namatay?
Yes po, Doc, based sa article.
Alam ko na pag napunta na tayo sa feelings, alam na. No? Ano kaya ang mga feelings na lalabas mamaya? Okay, we go to the laboratory. Ano yung laboratory? I mean, what do you expect the laboratory results will be? CBC. Oh, let's go to CBC. Ano? Increase in WBC?
Yes po.
Which is known as?
Hyperleukocytosis.
Ano?
Leukocytosis.
May narinig ako nagsabing hyperleukocytosis. Meron bang ganon? Ano na? What do you call that condition where there is an increase in WBC?
Leukocytosis po.
Leukocytosis.
Leukocytosis po.
Leukocytosis. Bakit merong leukocytosis nga ulit? Bumalik na naman tayo.
Para i-combat po yung microorganism po ito, which is yung Bordetella pertussis po. So predominantly, since bacterial po siya, bale, baka neutrophil po yung predominate na type of WBC po daw.
Anong WBC ang mag-predominate?
Neutrophil po daw.
Why?
Kasi bacterial in origin po yung cause po.
So, why nga? Bakit hindi lymphocytes? Bakit hindi lymphocytes ang dumadami in a bacterial infection?
Sa virus naman po.
Hindi. Bacteria nga pinag-usapan natin.
Acute respiratory disease po.
Hindi, pero bacterial kasi siya, di ba? Because bacteria would, bacterial infection would tend to make the WBCs or the neutrophils migrate or marginate towards the circulation. So it will be able to reach the area of injury. And of course, neutrophil is the most abundant of the WBCs in circulation. Ano pa nga yun? So in differential count, anong differential count meron? Patingin nga nung CBC. Yan, CBC, okay. Yung level ng WBC na yan, what will be your other differential? What will be other diagnosis na maisip mo with the WBC that high?
Leukemia po.
Leukemia, di ba? So what are you going to do? What is a test to determine if this is leukemia or not?
Sa bone marrow po.
Ay, bone marrow agad? Kasabagay, napanood niyo yung kanina. Ang sakit tingnan, no?
BBS po, Dok.
BS po, Dok.
Yung lab test po.
Yes, yung lab score. Yung lab score, di ba? Well, PBS, you will look at it. Kung merong mga blast, then you would say this is just leukemoid. But the lab score, when it's low, it's not, it's leukemia. No? Lab score ang titingnan. And if this is not leukemia because the lab score is low, what do you call this case then? Hoy. Hindi siya leukemia, pero ang taas ng WBC. So anong tawag doon?
Leukemoid reaction po.
Ano na?
Leukemoid reaction.
Yes, leukemoid reaction. Okay? So ano pa? Ay, Bonnie, kumusta ang mga sticks natin dyan?
Dumadami naman po, Dok.
Lahat ba nakapag-smoke na?
Po?
Lahat ba may nakapag-smoke na?
Ay, hindi pa po, Dok.
O sino yung mga non-smoker pa dyan?
Yung hindi ko po nakikita, Dok, De Guzman,
Mhm.
Diaz, Gutierrez, Hipolito Lopez, Makadamdang, Manalang, Martinez, Name, Navarra, Nohara, Santos.
Ay, ang dami pa pala.
Opo,
Para
Dok.
ka dyang nagdadasal, no? Pray for us, pray for us, pray for us. O ano, ilan sila? 15 ulit? Hala, di ba ang usapan natin,
15
mag-makeup
po,
tayo
Dok.
pa? 15.
Opo.
Ang usapan natin, di ba, mag-makeup tayo, tapos para pag mabilis tayo, merong magme-mema. Or, itong 15 na to, nag-aantay doon sa feelings.
Siguro po.
Doon na ba? Oh, doon na tayo sa feelings ngayon. Okay? What are your learnings muna bago mag-feelings? What are your learnings of the case?
Dok, na-prevent po sana yung yung condition kung nakapagpa-vaccine yung bata.
So the importance of vaccination. Okay. What is the vaccine called?
DTaP po.
Ano na?
DTaP and TDAP.
DTaP, baluwag. Di ba DPT lang naman yun? Okay. Next. Next feeler. Ay, hindi pa feeler. Yung learnings muna. Learners muna bago ang feelers. Okay, so case detection and case reporting. Okay, ano pa? Learners.
Siguro po, Doc, yung properly diagnosing the patient since there are a lot of pwede or differential diagnosis sa case po, and yung nabanggit po ni Bonnie kanina, yung pwede po natin siya ma-differentiate sa leukemia by using yung LAP score po.
So thorough assessment and diagnosis to have the correct diagnosis and the appropriate management and prevention. Bakit ako yung nagsa-summarize ng mga ano? Ano pa? Learners, meron pa? Wala? So feelers na tayo? Learner?
Apo. Doc, siguro po pag suspected for pertussis po yung patient, importante po yung monitoring ng patient kasi yun, anytime po pwedeng, katulad po nung nangyari sa case na namatay po yung patient. Dahil dun
Okay, close monitoring because this is a gram-negative infection. It can cause septic shock. Okay, next, learner. Wala nang learners? Feelers na lang ba? Nabawasan ba ang ating mga non-smoker dyan? Ano? Bonnie?
Nabawasan naman po, Doc.
Ilan? Nang dalawa. What have you learned from this one?
Doc, yung need po ng isolation since droplet precautions po yung sa Bordetella pertussis.
Okay, precautionary measures and observance of precautionary protocols. Sige. What else? May nagpakita kanina ng smear, bone marrow smear ba yon? Pakita mo nga yon. Yun. Ayun. What can you say about this smear? What have you learned about this smear? Remember, I showed you kanina yung normal sa abnormal, di ba? So ano yung mako-comment mo dito? Say something about this.
May mga immature todo.
May mga blast? Kasi syempre bone marrow yan eh. Diba? Pero what is important here? Maybe you can have a stick on that. O ano pa? Ano yung sinabi ko kanina doon sa normal marrow? Ano yung dapat meron?
Polymorphism po.
Close to that. Starts with letter M.
Myelocyte po. Myeloblasts.
It is a verb. Pwedeng noun. Ano po yung noun ko? Ano yung verb? It starts with letter M. Ends with I-O-N. Magnification. There is maturation. When you say there is maturation, there is, makikita mo yung young, not so young, old, not so old. There is maturation. That is why the description here is called heterogeneous. Heterogeneous, there are young, there are not so young. There are different forms. This means that there is maturation of the blood cells. Okay. Ilan na lang? Oh, let's go to the feelers now. How do you feel about the case?
Doc, ano po,
Yes.
aggressive yung treatment as well as the diagnosis kasi needed siya. We have here your bone examination. Nakita naman natin kanina na aggressive talaga siya. Even the administration of antibiotics is aggressive. Talagang mga pamalakasan na antibiotics. So siguro for the welfare din ng patient, kasi kung isipin natin, the patient is only 29 days old. Tapos i-isolate mo siya sa mother when we've learned in pediatrics na kailangan lagi siya with the mother and yung care is hindi mapoprovide at optimal doon sa newborn po. Ayun lang.
Oh, sige. So, mother-baby friendly ang approach mo. Okay. Ano pa?
Doc, nakakalungkot lang po kasi yun nga po
Sad. Okay.
Yung vaccination po is talagang 'di ba inaano po siya talaga dapat kailangan mabigyan agad ng vaccination yung mga bata. Sadly nga lang po na hindi nabigyan siya ng pang-vaccine, pang-immunize na po against this bacteria po.
Na available naman sana, di ba?
Opo, pero yun nga po, may mga health centers naman kung sakali, ika lang yun po.
True case ba ito or inimbento nyo lang?
True case po siya, Doc. It is study from Chinese infant, Doc, na tumataas yung cases nila. Kasi ang pinaka-cause daw is yung mga tao sa China, yung mga adult, yun yung mga hindi nagpapabaksin. So nahawa nila
Bakit daw?
Wala pong sinabi doon sa article, pero first cases daw kasi nangyari na nag-emerge ulit yung pertussis sa kanila.
Actually, nangyari na rin yan dito sa Pilipinas. Remember Dengvaxia? There were people who tried to discredit vaccination, 'di ba? Kaya bumaba talaga ang vaccination noon, 'di ba? Pero ang totoo niyan, the Dengvaxia case was politicized, no? Pero naman talagang mga reaction, no? Pero it doesn't kill, no? Pero ang daming I don't know ano nangyari sa case. Pero bumaba talaga ang vaccination rate because of that, no? Okay, so ano pa? Wala nang ibang nafe-feel?
Doc,
with that,
sorry. Pwede po mag-clarify lang since yung patient po ay 1 month old pa lang po and then the first administration of the vaccine should be at 2 months old. So parang kulang lang po, hindi po umabot yung pagiging
sige, papasagot natin sa reporter.
Opo.
Kasi
pwede ba na mabigyan at 1 month old po?
Pwede namang magbigay na ng 1 month old. Pero kailangan nito, tawag nito, if it is in a community level, pag merong ganyang outbreak, kailangan mo to give it earlier than the schedule. In this case, I think there is kasi this is a respiratory virus, di ba? So, yeah, I think ayaw lang talaga ng parents. Okay? So, next. Wala na? So, with that, tawag nito, yung sa quiz natin, dito manggaling next week. Next week, walang pasok, Bonnie, lahat nakapag-mema o wala?
More or less po, Doc.
More or